Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action, back for the second part of my death metal vinyl update. 7 records to look at, so let's get into it. This episode of Explosive Action is brought to you by Blacksound Records. Blacksound Records is a record store located in Melbourne, Australia, specialising in underground metal, punk, noise, experimental and everything in between. Blacksound offers fast and free delivery options across Australia, New Zealand and the world. Explosive Action viewers can get 5% off their first order using the code EXPLOSIVE05 at checkout. And a quick reminder, as always, that this video went to channel members earlier. If you'd like to join the channel, 99 cents a month. You get early access. You get to chat to me in the comments earlier. You might get exclusive videos one day. You never know, but support the channel. And this first record I'm going to show is one that I purchased from Blacksound Records down there in Victoria. Definitely go check them out. I don't just promote them because it's a sponsor. I promote them because they are a good distro. That's how I got there in the first place. And this is what I picked up, which is Vomitrot. Outstanding band name. Emetic Imprecations. Look at that cover. Look at that logo. Do I need to say any more? With a name like Vomitrot, you can expect completely and utterly disgusting death metal. I mean, it's obvious. Yes, it's very loose. It's very loud. It's very noisy, very gurgly, very splashy sounding death metal. With a bass guitar tone that could shear sheep. Vocals that could only be described as puking. Do you catch my drift here of what Vomitrot are doing? It's very caveman stuff, but without so much of that hardcore beat down, like, we're hardcore kids that are playing death metal kind of thing. I'd say only about 5% of that sound is in here. I haven't looked into the history of the band members, but it doesn't come across as one of those bands. The band are Swedish, but this is far more reminiscent to me of the Danish bands, the Danish scene, stuff you'd find on Extremely Rotten Productions, even though this came out on Transylvanian Recordings, a US label, I believe. But yeah, I mean, this fits alongside your Undergangs and everything, and I mean, your Hyperdontias, but even filthier and more toilet swimming. This is nasty. The opening track, the B-side, look at the back here. Look, I mean, did I say caveman? I'll get rid of my fingerprints. But look at this. He's literally got a bone. They're covered in, let's just call it excrement and be polite. Let's use the scientific term. But, I mean, and it's written like it's on a wall, cave wall. This is not smart stuff, right? We're not after smart stuff here. The opening of the second track on the B-side here, sulfuric phlegm, heinous sulfuric phlegm. Oh, absolute steamroller. The best track for me on the album, opening up the B-side. It's just a putrid march through the swamp, opening with that electric fence sounding bass guitar wire. I don't know what he's done with it. It's an absolute, it's corrugated iron. I don't know what's going on. It is just a slaughter fest, that bass guitar. And the whole track is an absolute stomper. It's a very short album at 26 minutes and 6 tracks. Other bands would call this an EP or a mini album. Could I listen to 55 minutes of Vomitrot? I don't know. I mean, because when I listen to this, although it's swampy and it's thick and nasty, it does have speed, but it is mainly in that swampy caveman style. It does actually have that impact of grindcore. So you don't really need 55 minutes of this. You need 26 and a bit minutes to completely pummel you, remind you that you are smarter, and then you can get on with your day. Their self-titled album, though, apparently is 37 minutes long, which is slightly longer. Maybe the band got dumber. I'm saying this all in a nice way, and I'm sure they know it too. But I haven't heard the first one. I would like to hear that. It's self-titled, it's just called Vomitrot. Yeah, I imagine it's a disgusting ride, similar to Emetic Imprecations. But yeah, this is filthy stuff. They were a 3-piece at the time of recording this. All members are in a Black Doom band called Gravkade. Don't know them. Nothing in there. But we do have Last Night's Dinner Puked Up Coloured Wax. You can literally see the carrot chunks. It's just Puke Fest, Vomitrot, Emetic Imprecations. Do you like the sounds of it? You probably shouldn't, but give it a spin. Okay, we're gonna go a little slightly bit more highbrow here, just slightly. I mean, it's not hard to get more highbrow than Vomitrot, but we are moving on to something a bit more razor sharp. This is Stress Angel with Punished by Nemesis. Great title. Relatively new band, harkening back to the early days of evil, thrashing death. Very much think you possessed seven churches. Slayer show no mercy, but a little bit tighter. The spirit of the very first Sodom EP. That kind of speed, but in a bit of a modern retelling. And when I say modern, I want to stress that I want to stress, Angel, that there's not a digital sound going on here. This is not, one of those late 80s, early 90s thrash bands that then went away and then came back in 2020 and it sounds like a computer made it. No, 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 no. We're not doing that here. You know, the lens. If I'm looking at this through a camera, the lens is like a compact Nikon with a cracked glass. It's not a digital camera. Okay, do you like that? Because I think that's a good analogy here. It's a Nikon camera. The battery does a bit half-assed. It's got a cracked lens. It'll ruin 3 out of the 24 photos that you've taken on film. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, Stress Angel are old school through and through, and it's fast. It's not blazingly fast, but it's thrash fast. It's speed metal fast, and I really, really enjoy that about them. It's sort of got the rapid 1-2 beats, pretty ugly, and I said razor sharp at the start, and it's very true. Razor sharp, fast tremolo guitar. Take that bridge, that excellent bridge, which is now going to be stuck in your head from Possessed's The Exorcist, and run that for the whole album. It's kind of the tone and the style of the guitar here. It's you've got Destroyer 666 handing out the beers, and then you're ready to be punished by Nemesis. That is Stress Angel. They're a two-piece with, at least on this, two-piece with session bass. There's the two guys. I like the fishbowl lens they've got on here. Yeah, attached to their Nikon camera, right? That's what's gone on here. No digital photo here. They've done some trickery. Um, Guitarist Nikolai Orifice, great Orifice. He brings the shred. I don't know which one of them is here. Is he? They've both got disgusting mustaches, and I highly approve. The drummer, his name is Manny Saws, or maybe Many Saws. Great name. He also drums for the band. They're spelt Natur, Natur, which is German for nature. So I don't know if you're supposed to just call it nature. But that was an occult heavy metal band that surprisingly got signed to Earache a good 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. Did an album called Head of Death, very trad, kind of slightly doom metal, occult heavy metal stuff, which was really cool. Had a very analog Fenris approved sound to it. And here it's, they've got that similar sound going on here, that maybe autopsy, mental funeral kind of drums. Yeah, really, really appropriate sounding for what they're trying to do here. And old mate here's wearing the Negative Plane shirt. Not 1,000 years away from where some of Stress Angel is going here. It's maybe just a touch of 70s prog in some of the leads. Some thrashy black metal, like I said. Destroyer 666 are handing out the beers to these guys for sure. And just that little bit of weirdness, and that's the Negative Plane stuff. The open side B, Jericho's trumpet, is definitely the one that sort of exemplifies the little bit of weirdness these guys have got going on. And I dig that they're just a little bit different. Like, this is not just, as I said, like some kind of retro thrash or whatever, that kind of band. It's even the cover here, we've got like a war between two insects. Who would do this kind of cover? It's really interesting. I love the logo. Like, they've got the demon tail, the inverted cross. It's awesome. And yeah, this is their sophomore release, following up the 2020 wonderfully entitled album, Bursting Church. Now, I've not heard Bursting Church, but I really, really have to now. This is out on Dying Victims, along with Stygian Black Hand. Take a look inside. Really, really good stuff. Hopefully, I explained it well enough. There's the band with their Nikon fishbowl lens and the logo. There you go. Punished by Nemesis. Get a Dying Victims postcard with the cover. Oh, there we go. That's actually really cool. You've got the insect war, and the band members are out of shot there in the background. Again, using the Nikon lens. I don't know why I keep going on about that, but there's the band. Look at that. Got some pit vipers. This kind of reminds me of that, like, early 2000, like Zyklon, like Samoth taking the shot. You know that thing I'm talking about? Reminds me a bit of that. The city, like, he's got the knife. He's lost out in this fight. The blue jeans, the big black boots, the destroyed shed. It's just perfection. Absolute perfection. Absolutely everything you want. And the record, I think I just went with the Blacks. So there you go. Stress Angel. Yeah, the name had been getting a little bit of a push through the scene last year. I was a little bit late to it. But yeah, really, really happy to pick this one up. Punished by Nemesis. If you like my crazy analogies and descriptions here, do check them out. It's that really tight, modern, but not clinical sounding death thrash. Good stuff. This sophomore is the absolute definition of a release getting lost amongst the chaos and noise of 2024, which was an impressive year for death metal. And there was a new Petrification album, Sever Sacred Light. I tripped over this on a distro without having any idea the band released a new album. This is their first Murmurs since the 2018 debut, which I thought was really, really good. But I kind of figured the band just was one and done. Maybe they moved on to other things because I had heard nothing, not a drop about Petrification. Maybe I'm listening or watching the wrong things, but nobody else showed this that I could think of. I didn't see any social media chatter. I didn't get any distro promotion stuff. Yeah, Petrification, Sever Sacred Light, and I'm finally getting to it. But yeah, this is a real, just like the first one, this is a real foot stomper of just filthy, straight up death metal. Their roots are Asphyx and Autopsy and Bolt Thrower, lots of Bolt Thrower. It's that kind of school, old school. But look at the cover. Look at that. I mean, the cover, it just made me think of, like, Depigus. It's even got a little bit of synth flourishes through here. Just a little bit, not as much as Depigus, but there is a little bit of Depigus going on here, and the cover art kind of helps seal that one. This is such meat and potatoes death metal. I mean, that phrase I use probably once every death metal update. This is the one I'm calling meat and potatoes death metal this time, and I'm talking just like not a dry aged ribeye here. This is the supermarket rump steak that comes in a tray with plastic seal on it, and you're getting it on special, and then you're buying like 3 potatoes and you've got to clean the dirt off yourself. Petrification. You're not having any other sides with it. You're not having any sauces or anything. Meat, potatoes, just like a real man. Petrification. Heavy, riffy verses, lots of rolling double bass, D-beat, that Autopsy style, but very, very Bolt Thrower overall. They know what they're doing. It's just straight up hit you in the head death metal. But it does have these sort of crawling swagger passages that are like, just little breaks, like between a verse, like it's almost the bridge stuff, and they do this like dun 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 dun, that kind of thing that Autopsy was really well known for doing. Yeah, that happens quite a few times. Here's the back of it. It's a beautiful gatefold. I'll fold it out in a second. Vocals very monotone. Again, it's that sort of Carl Willits style vocals, just growled at you directly. That's it. Mountains of dive bombs to make me a happy man, and they just go on. They're not these short dive bombs. They like go on for 4 bars. Just hold that string. So good. The production is right on target for this kind of stuff. So much so that the first track I put it on there and I'm listening to it, and it was so supremely heavy and chunky. I'm like, should this be played at 45? I'm playing at 33, and I'm like, should be at 33. And then I got into it, and the vocals, everything else started to just sort of be correct. I'm like, Wow, that was one heavy ass opener that made me think that the album was being played too slow. But yeah, chunky and thick with great artwork. We'll try and fold it out a bit. There you go. That outstanding. And then there's the inside. There's the band. 5 piece. All looking very death metal. We've got folded arms, lunch boxes. We've got band shirts. We've got bullet belts. We've got more filthy. What is this? This is like cosmic cannibalism, sacrifice. Just, a sever sacred light. Everything is going on with this. Just absolutely everything. It's fantastic. Um, but they don't reinvent any wheels here. I think that's pretty obvious. They're barely using the wheel at all. No wheels there. We've got some lasers shooting at dinosaurs, but there's no wheels. This band amble along on some kind of like Flintstones dinosaur foot pedal thing, and then bludgeon you with a tomahawk stake. That is petrification. Good stuff when you just want to headbang and create a circle pit in your bedroom, and it's out on Svart Records in this very nice gatefold. Inside, let's see if we have anything in there. Oh, I do. Oh, that's right. It had the hype. I did try to save the hype sticker, which let's read from it. Sever Sacred Light delivers 8 tracks of crushing, doom-laden, down-tuned, old-school death metal for fans of Coffins. Yeah, okay. Autopsy, Bolt Thrower, and Demigod. Oh, I bet Demigod, maybe. I can definitely hear that Coffins, though, particularly that opening track. But just on black. And yeah, it's good stuff. If you are just a straight-up death metal fan and you get annoyed at, oh, bands are all like Bloody Incantation now. It's all too weird. I'm not smart enough for this. Petrification. Straight up death metal. Got some 1991 influence in it for sure. Sever Sacred Light. Check it out. Next up, we have a really good Chilean death doom band. This one is Rotten Tomb with The Relief of Death. This band formed in 2016. Presenting here their second full length, cut from the very thick and heavy cloth that they share with Grave Miasma. It's the first thing I thought of. This 4 piece are absolutely crushing in their sound. Big, booming reverb vocals, churning, just guttural tremolo riffs, like right down at the bottom of the frets there. Like they combine a sound that is like a slowed down version of Lucifer, but with the melody, occasional melody, and that like dripping with sadness melody of like Jade. So there's 2 combinations of bands there for you, Jade and Lucifer. And the band do find speed though, quite frequently, very frequently. Blast beats accompany all that. The second track starts with speed and an ugly, dissonant riff, going for a bit of an incantation vibe. But Rotten Tomb, they really have sort of a larger soundscape to them. I think the production really helps here. It is a very big and immense sound. Booming is the best word to describe the whole thing. It's just booming. It is full and it is completely encompassing. There's the back. Band members looking dead, I assume. Looking like, I mean, this is classic stuff here. It is absolutely that school of death metal. I mean, black leather jackets, the hair covering the faces, no smiles whatsoever. No one's having fun. Very Grave Miasma. Dual guitar band here with those dive bombs that make me very happy. Switching to sort of a crawling, slower pitter patter bass with those blasts in there sometimes as well for the ferocious sections. But I love that pitter patter bass, double bass sound. It's just it's swarming, just molasses crawling kind of thing. But the blast, and when they get into the speed stuff, it does add a lot of vitality. The last track on the first side is an instrumental, and Rumble for the Cult of Death was the name of that one. And it is a rumble. What an appropriate title. It comes in with this solo bass guitar that is just rumbling. It is such a good sound. And then it builds up layers and layers of instruments. I was getting kind of a Morbid Angel Gateways of Annihilation feel on that one. So there's definitely that appreciation for sort of the late '90s, 2000 era Morbid Angel. Um, Second side doesn't add many like surprises to the mix. Like the whole thing end to end is just crushing death metal with depressive, doom laden riffs thrown in there, pulling equal parts Asphyx for the dirge and the D beat, and then the fire of Lucifer for those blasts and just the evilness. There's an evil sound going on here. I think a lot of it's to do with the vocals. So yeah, great stuff here out on a Nuclear Winter. 9 tracks in 45 minutes. This was originally on Death Division Rituals, which is the Chilean label, and Nuclear Winter is licensed it for, I guess, a wider release. So yeah, thanks to them for doing that. Take a look inside. We get lyrics there. Nice bit of death artwork there. Very cool. Layout by C. Kerwin. And you have the actual painting there on the front. No, I don't think it's listed. But the drummer on this one is a session drummer called Skullfuck. Tells you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know right there. And the lyrics. And oh yeah, the LP itself is just black. Very nice indeed. Center labels. So yeah, Rotten Tomb. I know a few people did show this later last year. And yeah, it showed up on sale at a distro. So I was very glad to pick this one up. Rotten Tomb, The Relief of Death. Check it out. And the next three and the last three I'm going to be showing here all come from Pulverized Records out of Singapore, and all have a bit of a story to them, which we're going to get into. But we have here the vinyl repress, not recent, but 2018 repress of the cassette demo of Jade's Smoking Mirror. I've been after this one for quite some time. Yeah, like I said, it came out in 2019, the vinyl repress, but stock is still readily available. There's multiple colored pressings for this thing, and they're kicking around if you look. And then in 2022, we had the Pacification of Death, which was a huge highlight for me that year. That was where I jumped on with the band. I hadn't heard the demo at that point. It was in my top 5 of the year. It was my one of my first, if not the first, review at Heavy Metallurgy. And yeah, it was an amazing album. I still play all the time. But here, we go back a couple of years and have 4 tracks of Smoking Mirror, their demo. It's a bit more like an EP. This is not your traditional cassette demo sounding stuff, though it did come out on cassette first. And it's not light years away of where the band would go with Pacification of Death, but the Bolzer influences that I've mentioned, and I always mention with the band, are far more, I'd say, obvious at this point. Not in a bad way. I think the band are just still finding their own sound a bit more here. It's unmistakably Jade when you listen to it, but you know, they've definitely listened to Aura, Soma, and Hero from Bolzer before they sat down to record this thing. You know, all bands start somewhere, and that's not a bad place to start. So it's very mid-paced, emotive, atmospheric death metal. That is Jade's brand. Guttural vocals with those Bolzer style wails, and I think that's the thing that makes it stand out. And their bands still do it to this day. It's they've taken that signature and then run with it themselves. That, you know, they've got the deep guttural vocals for the most part, and then you've got this like standing in the distance in another room shouting out these crooning, just shouting out these extra lines. And yeah, that's very much like Bolzer have been doing. Side B opener, I'll flip it over here. So I said it's 4 tracks. Side B opener, Blossom. That's the standout for me. It's got a faster pace to it, real tremolo main riff, and a heightened aggression for the entire track. One of their more aggressive tracks overall from Jade. But yeah, it's a great, solid EP. It is difficult to listen to this after Pacification. It is, I mean, it's a step down if you're going in that order, but if you were listening to this and then went to Pacification, it's a step up. It is not at all bad. It is good, and it is worth having. It is just where the band started. There's the nice thick card there for the lyrics. Jade logo, some credits, and This edition comes on Oxblood Bone, so it's very bony, and this side is a little bit of Oxblood. So not so much blood coming through there. It's more of a bone with some sprinkly stuff, but it works well. And yeah, there's the front cover to it. So it's a good news story. The definition of these three records I'm showing is what we call good customer service. So I ordered this originally, along with the Rotten Tomb and a handful of other things, and some CDs. I showed some death metal CDs many months ago, and they all came from a sale order I did at Dark Descent Records over Christmas. And I hadn't got around to playing this until about a month ago. I put it on there, and damn thing was defective. It's very, very rare for a new record for me to find to be defective in a way that's not just like, oh, a pop here or a crackle here. I'm talking the stylus jumped on every groove on both sides. Something had gone wrong during the press. So I hit up Dark Descent and said, sorry, I know this has been in my collection for a couple of months now, but yeah, it doesn't quite work. Do you have another copy? And Matt at Dark Descent, great bloke, didn't have any more stock, but he took it upon himself to hit up Roy at Pulverized and just came back to me and said, Roy's going to sort you out a new one. Doesn't get any better than that. Or does it? Um, I hit up Roy and I said, look, appreciate this. On Pulverized, you've got this other album. I've been trying to buy it for ages. Just let me know how to pay for it. And, you know, we can tack it on, make sure that the order for you and the shipping is worth time. He said, don't worry about it. I'll chuck that in as well. Okay. And we'll get to that one after this. But the customer service was ridiculously good from both labels. Matt at Dark Descent, who's always good. Roy from Pulverized, outstanding. Got the thing in 3 days from Singapore to Australia, DHL. You cannot improve on that. You cannot improve on that. So, yeah, anyway, but Jade Smoking Mirror is absolutely, absolutely a really, really strong Jade release. It's just not as strong as what was going to be coming. And we'll get to all that in a minute. So the next one I received from Pulverized, which was the one I attempted to pay for because it's been an album I've been trying to get for a long time. I've just been really failing to find it at any distro internationally or locally. I've probably just been looking in the wrong places, but very happy to pick it up. Uttertomb or Uttertomb, I'm assuming it's Uttertomb with Nebulas of Self-Desecration. Great name. These guys are a punishingly dark and claustrophobic death metal band from Santiago, Chile. They formed in 2011. Had a series of demos and EPs over the years, and finally here with their first full-length Nebulas of Self-Desecration. This came out last year. But I was a big fan of their 2019 EP, Necrocentrism, the Necrocentrist. It's a great title, but yeah, a bit of a mouthful. And I was wondering if we would see more from the band. And it was, yeah, surprising to me when I saw some promo stuff for this thing kicking around. I'm like, oh, that's right, this Uttertomb, they're back. That's great. And I just never managed to find a copy. It came out April 2024, a full year ago now. And yeah, I finally have this copy here. Like I said, I was really having trouble nailing it down, but Roy was from Pulverized was very, very kind to hook me up with this copy. These guys play in those dark depths of your Dead Congregation, Cruciamentum, Funebrarum, a little bit of early Portal like Sepia, the root notes of the F and G Morbid Angel albums. That's where we are with Uttertomb. It's a more matured death metal for that discerning listener. Not this isn't Vomitrot. No, that's not what we're doing here. Pure evil verges on like slow crawls to then stampedes of elephants. It's across the spectrum here. Big booming vocals again over the top of everything. Twin guitars and great bass that sort of fill out the entire sound sonicscape. Yeah, these guys, it's just death metal for a dark and stormy night. It is not good to play this one on a sunny day. It's a sunny day right now, and I couldn't think of putting on Uttertomb. This is not happy days music. This will not brighten your day one iota. These songs themselves are not particularly unique if you listen to one by one. This is a put the whole album on and just soak it in on a dark and stormy night. It's an entire album listening experience with decay. I mean, look at all the decay. This bloke has been speared and left with like zombies or whatever coming out of the grave. He's having a bad night. There's more bad night going on there. There's a fucking eyeball. I don't know. There we go. They've got some statues. Very solemn and dark and gothic. Uttertomb. It's really, really good stuff. But you're gonna want that dark, deep, and I'd say a little bit depressive sounding death metal. If you're a fan of that style, then Uttertomb has got you covered. But if you're more about Petrification, then probably not where you want to go. But for me, absolutely fantastic and a sensational follow up to the 2019 EP. Let's take a look at the bits and bobs we get in here. I think that's covered it. So we get a nice, is this A5 or A3 booklet? I don't know. But anyway, that's a nice booklet for the lyrics. Great imagery, good stuff. Typeset font, nice artwork in there, nicely presented, and the LP, of course, on black. Imagine this in bright pink. No, it's Uttertomb with Nebulas of Self-Desecration. It is dark and lumbering death metal for that discerning death metal ear. And that's not the last thing from Pulverized I'm going to be showing. So I knew in that Pulverized package I was going to be receiving the Jade Smoking Mirror EP, and I was thrilled that we were going to be receiving the Uttertomb full length as well. That's what I expected to show up, and I was very, very thankful for both of those things to be coming my way. And as I said, arrived in 3 days from DHL Singapore. Absolutely outstanding customer service there. And when I opened the box, I was very, very surprised and humbled to see the brand new Jade album, Mysteries of a Flowery Dream. This is not out until May the 9th. So Roy was incredibly kind to be including this in the package for me. Like I said, Pacification of Death was one of my highlights of that year. Gets the spins all the time. And this thing has been getting many, many spins since it arrived. It has eclipsed the other two albums that I just showed from Pulverized. And yeah, just humbled is the word here for receiving this thing well ahead of schedule. Now, I plan on reviewing this for the Heavy Metallurgy, hopefully before the release date, coming up in about a week. We will see if I can get there in time. But because they're going to keep this brief, on this album, Jade just continued their evolution, that we could see them start with Smoking Mirror, the demo I just showed, and then onto Pacification of Death, the full-length album, then onto the recent split release with Sanctuarium, which started to show a little bit of evolution in their sound. I think they just honed it just a little bit more. It was pretty in line with Pacification, just a little bit more honing the sound there. And then, as I said, May 9th, we receive the sophomore release here, the Mysteries of a Flowery Dream. Off the bat, this thing starts with The Stars Shelter. We'll show the back. There's the back. The Stars Shelter, which is sort of a quasi-instrumental. It's mostly instrumental with sort of whispered vocals, which were very different for me to hear from Jade. Really good, really sets the mood. And then it goes into the first track proper, Light's Blood. That could be track of the year from any band. Just outstanding song. We're hit with those crooning, sort of Bolzer-ish vocals again, those shouted in the other room kind of things. And then the pummeling drums come in, those emotive leads that get me every time, layered over the chunky Jade riffs. But standing out this time in the production on that track particularly was the jangly bass. It was right there, just below the guitars, like almost equal volume. And that bass guitar sounds hungry. It really, really does. More dynamicism in the drums as well, a lot more toms usage. We moved on to the next track, Shores of Otherness, and that was just a lot of tom drums being used there. Breaking up the song a lot more. It's like They do have a default in that sort of just bang, bang, bang with the double bass through it. That's sort of Jade's default pattern. But there's been a lot more like breaking up this main song into, at the bridges they'll slow it down and go into some sort of like standard rock beats almost to give you a bit of a head nodding thing, or the tom usage to sort of build up a crescendo into the next part. There's a lot more of that going on this album. This track, Shores of Otherness, is the longest as well, 8 minutes and 26 seconds. So a lengthy piece of death metal on here, very atmospheric. Opening with this sort of spiritual sounding chant over dark ambient piece, which really set the tone for that track. And then, yeah, those crushing riffs and all that tom drum usage again, really great. Way back when I did my Pacification of Death review, I was always saying that Jade's lead guitars were real like heartstring tuggers. Nothing has changed. I don't know if it's just down to the notes or the phrasings, how it's done. I'm not a musician, but as soon as those leads come in with Jade, it's just you just want to start weeping. I don't know what it is they do, but I'm really happy that they do. It is just so. It's what stands out for me for them. That is Jade's sound. Those leads. It's what I think every time I hear them. And you've heard me do reviews of other bands this year where I've said blah 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 lead guitars sounding a bit like Jade, and that's a bit of a thing to say with a modern band being used as your comparison. I've spent a lot of this update talking about blah blah Dead Congregation, Morbid Angel, but to say another band has stuff that sounds like Jade, for me, that's telling you that they're really setting their own sound, and Jade really are here, and they have. It's light and day between this and the Smoking Mirrors demo. They've done exactly what a band needs to do, is just get better and better and better, and they have here. I don't want to get too much more into it because hopefully the full length review will get into some details, but I will use my expressions to sum up my feelings for this album. Does that cover it? I hope it does. We'll take a look inside. We get lyrics and photos, very nice. Full piece. And in this one, the black. There are color variants too, I believe. But yeah, stoked. Very excited. Jade, Mysteries of a Flowery Dream. Big props again to Roy at Pulverized for hooking me up with these 3 records, particularly with this new Jade album. Look out for my review on the Metallurgy, hopefully very soon. But yeah, really, you're going to need this. That's it. That's the 7 records I'm going to be showing in this update. Excuse the noise if you could hear cars going up and down the street. It's election day and people are out voting. How boring. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe. Check out the sponsor, Blacksound. You might be able to pick up some of these records from them down in Melbourne. Consider joining the channel. 99 cents a month helps me out, and you might get some early access to some more goodies coming in the future. Check out this guy. Check out this guy. I'll see you next time.